Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Rebreak Radio. I'm your host, Dennis, and I'm joined today by Robin.
Hello.
So, this is kind of a four-part show. We first have this kind of intro style thing, and then we do the news, then we do a topic. Today's topic is our Uncharted The Lost Legacy review, and as well as a spoiler discussion about it. So if you haven't played The Lost Legacy, don't worry about it. We're gonna do like spoiler free to begin with, and then we're gonna go into spoilers. And then the pitch section afterwards is gonna be our pitch for the next Uncharted game. So if you haven't played Lost Legacy, that section of the show will also include spoilers for pretty much every Uncharted game.
You should probably skip once we are done with the review.
Yeah, so I think if you haven't played the game, stop. When we start with spoilers, that's pretty much the end of the show for you until you've played the game.
Unless you don't give a shit about spoilers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so how have you been?
I've been good. I'm pretty tired. Just got home from work. So, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been just playing games, doing whatever.
Yeah. What have you been playing recently?
I've been playing Sonic Mania.
Oh,
cool. It's I have a weird, complicated relationship with the Sonic series. Anyone who has followed me before, and we've made a Let's Play of Sonic Adventure 2. And it wasn't positive. It wasn't a positive Let's Play. We were kind of making fun of it all the time. But, so, if you don't know what Sonic Mania is the return to its, like, classic style. So, obviously, the first 3 games in the series were these kind of 16-bit style games on the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. Then they also made Sonic CD for the Sega CD on the Genesis as well. And there was never any more games. There were never any more games after that. And until like the Dreamcast and stuff like that, when they started with the Sonic Adventure series, and then they went down the old 3D rabbit hole of Sonic games. And because there were never a Sonic game on the Sega Saturn, which came out between the Genesis and the Dreamcast, all the Sonic fans were always wondering, like, what would a game on Sega Saturn what would a Sonic game on Sega Saturn look like? And that's basically what Sonic Mania is. And it's a pretty good game. I still have fundamental problems with Sonic to be just with like how Sonic works and how he feels to control. But if you look at the game for what it is a very good game. Like the major problems that I have with Sonic, anyone who's played Sonic knows how very slow he is to accelerate. It takes like a pretty long time for him to get up to speed, and it just makes him feel like very sluggish. I think a lot of my problems with Sonic would be fixed by simply increasing his lowest speed. Yeah, anyway, the game is really good.
Yeah. And so no more like freedom Sonic, this is just like straight up 2D.
Yeah, it has like special stages, which are this really lo-fi 3D style. Looks like it would have been on the Saturn, like in that era of graphics, like really low poly, and has like this Super Nintendo F-Zero Mode 7 style graphics on it on the stage. So it's pretty cool. Ironically, better than any Sonic game that has actually been in 3D.
Isn't there a new 3D game coming out too?
Oh, that game looks not very good.
What's it called?
Sonic Forces.
Oh yeah.
Sonic Mania, though, good game. I just hope that Sega doesn't misinterpret the success of Sonic Mania as like, oh, it's the retro style Sonic games that people love. Let's make 10 16-bit
Yeah.
Sonic games. Like, no, it's the quality of the game and the gameplay itself. That's what they should be evolving and taking it forward, taking it to the next level. So yeah, what have you been playing?
I just kind of been going through my backlog. I've played the first episode of Wolf Among Us.
Oh,
I really liked it. I mean, I kind of like crime games. There are not that many of them, but when they get released, I usually play a bunch of them. But I like the story and the characters, so I will definitely play the other episodes when I get a chance.
yeah.
Have you played it?
No, I haven't played it. The only Telltale games I've played is I played all of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Season 1. I haven't played the other
me
ones.
too.
Then I played the first episode of Game of Thrones, which was really bad. And
Yeah,
then I
I've heard.
played all of Batman Season 1 very recently.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Telltale is that I like the storytelling and all that. But to me, the story doesn't matter if the game isn't good.
No,
And
there's not a lot of gameplay in them. It's
yeah,
just
and that's
point
the
and click.
that's the thing too. Like, did you hear about this the Planet of the Apes game that was announced?
No, I didn't.
It is a branching story game. You never play anything. You just pick choices. And I think that's fine because they're not trying to make it a game. It's just an interactive story. But this Telltale is in this like really weird and they're in this weird in between where they want to tell a story. Like, I'm sure Telltale would love to just make it decision based and maybe have quick time events and stuff like that. But they don't allow themselves to do that. Like, the most awkward moments in Telltale games are when you get free control of the character and it just look like a dead person straight towards into nothingness, and you just walk around and it looks like you're puppeteering something.
And it runs like shit. Yeah. I also played an hour of Metal Gear Solid 5.
Have you played? Are you a fan of the series?
No, this is the first Metal Gear I ever played.
Yeah, I played like a little bit of Ground Zeroes.
Yeah, I finished Ground Zeroes, and then I was like, I liked it, but then when I moved on to the Phantom Pain, you have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
It's like kind of took me out of it. Maybe I'll go back to it. I mean, obviously Kojima is really talented, but
yeah, of course.
The stories are just so confusing.
So let's get into the news right after this break. All right, welcome back. It's time for the news. So our first news story is a roundup of the of Xbox Gamescom announcements, which obviously weren't basically anything.
They weren't that big.
Yeah.
Did you watch the live stream?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
The worst part was when Aaron Greenberg came out.
Yeah, and he said this is the strongest lineup in Xbox history.
Yeah, which they say every year.
Yeah.
But he said like he and I remember like the quote, and I had to like pause and like rewind and play it again and just really hear that that's what he actually said. But what he said was, obviously, Xbox gamers play our platform because we have the greatest exclusives. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
They have 2 exclusives coming out this year.
Yeah, they had...
And they're not even exclusives because they're out on PC as well.
Yeah, exactly. If you... look at the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo has released more exclusives this year than Microsoft has since, I believe, 2014.
Yeah.
And that's insane. That's crazy.
I mean, yeah.
Like I don't, and I'm talking about AAA grade exclusives.
Yeah, exactly. What really bothers me is that they say that everything is exclusive. Like, look at this new exclusive trailer.
Yeah.
Mm,
They use a lot of
so dumb.
terminology to kind of make
Yeah,
everything look better, and that's the thing that I don't really like about Microsoft this year, and like lately they don't have any games, so they're clearly
no,
living by terminology. Like all the Microsoft are only alive right now because they are using the right terminology. They're hyping up
yeah,
their fans, which I honestly don't think they're treating their fans right, because
no,
all they're doing is hyping them up for things they're not going to deliver on. Like they're hyping people up on the Xbox One X, which it's just gonna play games prettier. Like it's not gonna change anything. You
no.
should just play. You should just spend your money on buying like a Switch and a PS4, which you can do with all of that money. It costs $500. For that, you can buy a Nintendo Switch and a PlayStation 4.
Did you hear that it's apparently the fastest selling Xbox pre-order ever?
Yeah, but only counting 5 days. So I
Yeah,
mean, they always when publishers announce these like really weird stats, you have to look at like the fine print, because it's always
yeah,
like this really short period or like this very specific period where it is during. So this is like, okay, it's the Xbox console that has the most amount of pre-orders during 5 days. So maybe like another Xbox got more pre-orders than the Xbox One X if you count 7 days, for instance. Like we don't know. Really the only game company that honestly reveals their stats, or at least like among the first parties, are Nintendo. Like they revealed their stats, like specific amount of consoles released or purchased for the Wii U, and
yeah,
that must have been humiliating for Nintendo,
yeah,
but they did it, and I really respect that. I really
yeah.
respect that.
Now, Microsoft did it when they were in the lead, but now when they are losing, of course
Yeah,
they don't do it anymore. And the same for PlayStation.
yeah,
They
exactly.
never released numbers during the PS3 era, but now when they're winning, we get them like every conference.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at their announcements. So obviously they showed trailers. They showed the CG trailer for Assassin's Creed Origins, a game which I couldn't care less about,
No, that was so
honestly.
stupid. Like they started saying like this game will look and play better on Xbox One X, and then they showed a CGI trailer.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Why don't you just show footage of the Xbox One
Yeah,
version? Are you an Assassin's Creed fan?
I was not anymore.
Until which game?
Unity.
I've been a fan of the series ever since the beginning. Two had come out when I started, but I bought one
Yeah,
first, and then I bought two, and then I've followed the series ever since. I was one of the people who actually liked the present day sections of the game.
yeah. I thought it was fine too.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought they had this like really nice thread that went through all the games, stuff like that. But and every like the fact that people didn't play Syndicate is really like Syndicate is one of the best games in the series, easily. Like you should go back and play Syndicate. It's really good.
I didn't
Um,
play.
the thing with Origins is that they took a year off, and this is just like a marketing thing. And
Yeah,
everyone's like everyone I hear talking about this game is like, they took a year off. It's a completely new game. Like, no, it's
no, it's
exactly
not.
the same. I would say it's worse because now they've just stuffed a bunch of unnecessary RPG elements into the game,
Yeah,
and it just looks worse to me. And I'm not interested in this Egyptian
no,
setting either.
me neither.
I really loved the house, the buildings, and all the stuff in Unity. The fact you had like horse carriages and stuff like that, and you had this like very Batman-esque like rope launcher and stuff like that. It was an awesome
Yeah,
game. It was really fun to play, and I feel like this game is not that. It's taking a step back, in my opinion.
They should just do a Black Flag 2.
Yeah, that's kind of what
I
they're
mean,
doing with Skull and Bones.
yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Which looks alright.
Yeah, I feel
Not
like
that
they're
it,
taking the wrong parts of Black Flag. Yeah, they're taking
yeah,
the awesome the awesome ship combat, obviously, but what was awesome about it as well was that you could disembark the ship and you could board other ships and start fighting the
yeah,
people on board. That's the fun parts, like the action of Black Flag. Now you're just playing as this ship. You're playing as the ship. You're not playing as the captain of the ship anymore.
mm,
So yeah, the next
yeah.
game here in the list on the article that we're reading is PlayerUnknown's Battleground. Have you played it?
No, I haven't.
No,
I
I
don't
haven't either.
play much on PC.
Nice, same here. I'm someone who I can't I can't handle like jank, like the jankiness of like unfinished
Yeah.
games and stuff like that. So this I could see myself playing it when it comes out, but I'm definitely not gonna play it now.
No.
I can't handle that, and that's why I've never played games like Fallout or Elder Scrolls because they're just not finished, and I'm not gonna play an unfinished game.
I mean, the game sounds cool and it
Yeah.
looks cool, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, it's a cool premise, and it was it on Kind of Funny Games Daily? I think someone wrote in and said that what if they were to make a Battlegrounds mode in The Last of Us Part 2's multiplayer, and I'm like,
Oh,
yes, please
yeah.
do. That would be fucking awesome.
Great.
That would
Huh.
be so great. I would play that definitely.
Now I'll be kind of disappointed if they don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it would work perfectly in the world of The Last of Us
Yeah.
because it's all about survival and stuff like that. And crafting and just picking
Huh.
up things. Like they have all the parts of the game already. They just need to arrange
Yeah.
them.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So next up here is Jurassic World Evolution. A new, the actual only new announcement that was at this
No.
event, and it's not even an Xbox One exclusive. It's coming to PlayStation 4 and PC as well. But it looks like a really cool game. At first, I was really skeptical until I heard that they were working. The people working on it has worked on games like Zoo Tycoon and Planet
Yeah.
Coaster and these kind of similar style of games. And I'm still worried since it is a licensed property. I'm worried that the people who own the license are gonna be involved too much and they're gonna push the game out too early,
Yeah. And
stuff like that,
rush
because
it.
that always happens with almost always happens with licensed properties, even when you have a developer who's perfect for it. Then we obviously talked about a bunch of enhanced Xbox One X games, which I couldn't care less about.
No. Just skip that one.
Yeah. And then they announced Recore Definitive Edition. And
Hey, remember that game that nobody played?
yeah,
Let's release a definitive edition of it.
I did play like a little bit of it. I thought it was fine, but it was still like it's clear that it needed more money.
Yeah.
But this is this definitive edition, and I'm saying this with air quotes, is all it features is 4K assets and HDR, and this
There's some new
this
DLC, right?
yeah, this like expansion to the game that was supposed to be released to the original game. Like if you were to, I did go check this out. If you go to Recore's website and go like check their like the news feed, you can see that they're updating like people on the next update, and then nothing. There's just nothing, and then they announce this this definitive edition, and like people were really pissed when this leaked, and thankfully they said that everyone who owns the game gets the definitive edition, and that just saved their ass. I think they could have been really bad if they didn't say that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's cool that they are giving it for free to people that already own the game.
Yeah. But
I think
it's
the more developers should do that if they do a definitive edition.
yeah. But obviously, it's really obvious the way this has happened. What this happened, I would guess that this is what happened. Microsoft sees that shit. We don't have any games for 2017. The Recore team is working on a new update for their game. They say like, shit, stop working on that. We're gonna release this as a new game. And we're gonna give it like all the Xbox One X features and shit, and release this as the definitive edition. It's like, yeah, I am sure that like word for word, that's exactly what happened because they needed more games to release this year. All right, family titles, Windows 10 announcements, whatever. Forza Motorsport 7, we know about that. It's a Forza game.
They show the same trailers and they did at E3. So.
Yeah, Xbox One X data transfer, like it's a data transfer feature. Every other platform is doing that already. Even the 3DS has a data transfer feature.
Yeah,
I don't know why that was such a cool announcement. And like when you transfer things between your 3DSs, you have like the Pikmin just go and pick up your data and just moves it over to the next 3DS. It's really awesome. Yeah. State of Decay 2. I don't know if they showed anything new. It was just like, we're making State of Decay 2.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah, like, we're making State of Decay 2. It's like, oh shit, you knew that already?
Yeah. I want to know how much they paid the crowd to be there.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously, that was Microsoft employees.
Yeah.
It was obviously Microsoft employees. So, yeah. Then they showed, like, war stories in World of Tanks. I've never played World of Tanks, so that's like whatever.
Came out 7 years ago, so that's great.
And then ID at Xbox thing here. So I after this announcement, there have been some really weird reports about PUBG specifically, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, where it was someone who works on PUBG said that Microsoft is publishing the game, which is weird because. And no one, I haven't heard anyone say this part, which is that PUBG is an ID at Xbox game. It's an independent game. So obviously I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but doesn't that mean that Microsoft is not publishing the game?
I guess.
I would just assume that they're helping them with the game, which is what ID at Xbox is. It's about helping indie developers create their games for Xbox.
Yeah, they're just trying to make headlines with them saying that they're publishing the game.
I don't even remember if they specifically said that Microsoft is publishing the game on stream.
I think they did.
I think obviously I don't remember perfectly, but I think that what's the name of the guy who makes PUBG? It's Brendan Green. I think
sounds right.
I think what he said was that they're helping them with the game a lot more than that was usually done. But I don't know. Maybe they are publishing the game. We'll see what happens when the game come out. Because we'll see in the store what it says on the game. Does it say by Microsoft Studios? It's published by Microsoft Studios. But yeah, I personally think that seems like, if I am right, a lot of media just were confused about what happened, and then just everyone just picked up the story. But we'll see what happens there. Sea of Thieves. It's Sea of Thieves.
Are you excited for it?
Seems cool. I'm not really an MMO guy, but
same here.
I might try it out. Then we have the Minecraft themed Xbox One X, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't really want like a big wrapped console like that, but I definitely think it's really cool, and they put a lot of.
That it isn't a One X.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, I think the reason why is because it's aimed towards a more wider casual audience.
Yeah.
But yeah. what this also does is show just how Microsoft is just trying really hard to make up for the fact that they don't have any games.
Yeah.
And you can also see that. Do you know about the Recon controllers, Recon Tech controllers
No.
that they've been releasing? It's like this really weird series of controllers that just look exactly like all the other controllers. They just have some like really weird patterns on them. They're supposed to be like military inspired and stuff like that, and they're more expensive than normal controllers, I think, too. And like it really, like, I don't really know why they're there. I don't know why they exist. They are not really that pretty to begin with, but yeah, it's weird. But yeah, this looks cool. So
Yeah, not for me.
yeah, Middle Earth: Shadow of War.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
Probably going to play it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Cuphead. No new announcements.
I mean, this is the one game that they showed that I'm actually somewhat excited for.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the thing is, you can just play it on PC. And it's even coming to Steam.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to have Windows 10
No.
to play this game. So I'll definitely be buying the Steam version.
Yeah.
Then a game that I thought looked really cool, but they didn't really talk about it at all, was this game called Surviving Mars.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
It's this like sim management game that is all about making a colony on Mars and surviving like the disasters and stuff like that happen on Mars. Like, so you build like biodomes and stuff like that on Mars, and it seems pretty cool.
So it's basically The Martian as a video game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it would look pretty cool. I'll definitely be keeping my eye on it.
Yeah.
Then he announced the Xbox One X Scorpio edition.
The entire show, they hyped up this fucking stupid announcement.
Yeah, it's just a console. It's just, again, this is just like, we made this for the fans. It's got a name on it.
Yeah.
Like,
look at this nice texture.
Yeah. It just again shows how Microsoft's priorities are just not in the right direction. And yeah, like it says, oh, and the stand to keep it constant vertical. So why would you even need a stand to keep it vertical? Why did you design the console this way? Yeah.
Overall, it was just a terrible live stream.
Yeah, it was
opinion.
terrible. I thought the hosts that were there, they did the best they could at actually making something. Like, it was this point. It was one really good announcement that I was really excited about, and it wasn't in this article, but it was that Design Lab is now coming to Europe.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. If I buy another Xbox One controller, I will definitely consider designing my own. So yeah. I'm happy that it's not just in the United States. So, and it was like this really funny moment during the stream where like the guy who's like demonstrating the controller is like holding it up, and like the two other people that are like showing their control and stuff like that. So that it's just, to me, that kind of just showed how they were like fucking around on the stream. And I can just see like the producer saying like, stop.
Yeah.
In the back, like, stop. But yeah, next story here is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is getting a season pass.
Great.
I'm okay with the season pass. It looks very similar to Breath of the Wild season pass.
Yeah.
It's not
at least
overly
they
aggressive.
announced what we're getting with it.
Yeah, exactly. I
good.
I think that's very much thanks to Nintendo, probably.
Yeah.
I think wouldn't have allowed Ubisoft to announce the season pass if it didn't have all the content in it, stuff like that. I don't know. maybe I'm just talking out of my ass, but I don't know if Ubisoft have been this like strict about showing what is in season pass before. I know that was like a big problem with like the Arkham Knight season pass, but that's obviously
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Are you excited for this game?
I am. I'm really excited for this game. It
Yeah.
looks so weird and it looks so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a bit skeptical, but then I watched a let's play of it, and it looks fun.
Yeah, it looks like it's really tactical. It looks like
Yeah.
it could actually be a really difficult game. People who have heard playing it said that like they died in the first world, which is like,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm really excited for this. um, but yeah, it looks really awesome, and I'm a fan of tactical games, but I haven't played games like XCOM and stuff like that.
No, me neither.
Mainly because I'm just not really a big fan of hardcore sci-fi or hardcore fantasy. Like those are like things that I dabble in occasionally, especially
Yeah.
like when it's like special, like Zelda. But Zelda is like the weird thing about Zelda isn't that it really isn't medieval or like
No.
fantasy in a way. It's just like this its own style. But yeah, anyway, it's I yeah, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle looks awesome, and
Yeah.
this kind of dynamic that they have between like the really like conventional characters of Mario with these just crazy over the top creatures from Rabbids, it looks hilarious, and the
It
only
has
like
potential.
yeah, it has potential. The only thing that I've heard people complain about is that it seems like Nintendo didn't allow Ubisoft to play around with Mario's character very much. He plays himself very by the book when it comes to Mario's portrayal in like Nintendo's games. While Peach is like not a damsel in distress. Peach is like a badass in this game. And Luigi obviously already has his weird personality. I don't know about Yoshi, but Yoshi's like a bomber. It looks like, I love the cover art or whatever it is like of the game where you see like Yoshi with like this huge RPG, and it just looks like he wants to kill everyone. It's so hilarious. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a good game. I hope for the best.
I hope so.
So yeah, the next story is Biomutant was announced by THQ Nordic from former Just Cause developers. So why don't you talk about this game since you're more excited about it than I am?
Yeah, I mean if you don't know what it is, it's an open world RPG where you play as a raccoon type thing.
Kind of looks like Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, kinda. And it's in third person, and you like. I think it's very hack and slashy. I
Yeah.
haven't watched a lot of gameplay on it, but apparently you're going to be able to like change your character's abilities and like appearance with mutations and prosthetics and weapons.
Yeah, it looks very customizable.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. From what
And
what was I gonna say?
I mean, the world seems interesting as well,
Yeah.
but you have some problems with the
Yeah.
animations.
Yeah, so as I said before with PUBG, I have a lot of problems when it comes to like jank in games. I guess that's kind of because I grew up with Nintendo games. Like I expect the game to be perfect, especially on a technical level, and like appearance and stuff like that. So, and Nintendo's games usually are like, obviously there are some bugs here and there, but they're generally like very perfect in a way,
Yeah, they're really very polished.
Yeah, and so are like Sony's first party games and stuff like that. But this game has like these really stiff and weird animations, and the world is like procedurally generated and stuff like that. So I think the game itself could be cool, but I feel like it could be very soulless because And especially because the character can be customized to such a huge degree that I
I mean, I
feel.
don't think it's that customizable. I think you can like change colors and stuff.
Yeah. But I think because of all of these like very variable things to the game, I think it could lose a lot of personality from that and a lot of just quality because everything is so random in a way. So I think I mean there are definitely good people behind the game.
Yeah.
So I am cautiously optimistic, but I'm not really hopeful that it's gonna be a good game. But we'll see what happens. I'm still gonna look have an eye on it at it.
Yeah. Me too.
So yeah, next up is Final Fantasy 15 is coming to PCs in early 2018, which I'm pretty excited about.
Did you play it? When
No,
it came out?
I didn't play it, but I've been interested in Final Fantasy 15. I think it looks like a pretty cool game, and I think I'm gonna play it on PC when it comes to PC.
It was the reason I bought a PS3.
So you're one of those people.
Yep, I am. I waited half my life for this game.
So I assume you played it.
Yeah, I did.
What do you think about it?
It's fine. Nothing great, nothing terrible, but it's fine. The story is confusing, feels uncompleted. The best part is Noctis and like his relationship with his friends. Like you really feel like they have a good, believable relationship, and that you're on this journey together.
Yeah, that's cool. So how is
Yeah.
like obviously like the first half of the game is open world.
Yeah,
How is it exploring the world and
I
stuff
mean
like
it's fun. You can like ride on a chocobo, which I did a lot.
that? Are you
but-
like a big fan of the Final Fantasy series in general?
I played 7 a little bit, and then I played 13 and the other 13 games, like 13.2 and 13.3.
Yeah, Lightning Returns.
Yeah, exactly.
What is for 13 like Lightning Returns? Because I only like read about it pre-release. I've seen like how 13.1 and 2 is. I played like a demo of 2 as well. But like I have never seen anything from the third one. And like
No, but-
I heard this like really weird. I feel like I read about this thing that's like really Majora's Mask style, where you have like this time.
Yeah,
thing
so
going
the
on?
premise of the game is that the world will end in 13 days, and when you play the game, there's a counting down, so you really only have 13 in-game days to complete the game, and you can like everything you do use up time, so it becomes very stressful.
Huh. Is it good? Is it bad?
It's okay,
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah, but if anything, Final Fantasy 15 on PC will be very, very beautiful.
Yeah, it says it'll include advanced grass and hair simulations,
Yeah, very
so
important.
you've got that to be excited for.
Very important stuff.
Yeah.
4K textures and blah blah blah.
I mean, in the article, all they talk about is like resolution and graphics and stuff.
Yeah, that's what PC gamers care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the only reason I really didn't go with, like for the PS4 version and stuff like that, because it was so like shoddy on performance.
Yeah.
Like you really needed to have a PS4 Pro if you wanted like anything above 30 frames per second, like consistently.
Yeah, it doesn't run that well, but
Yeah, so hopefully I can get a solid 60 frames per second on PC.
yeah.
Because that's the thing I like about PC. If I can hit 60 frames per second, I can just lower the graphics settings.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so the last story, not related to anything, is
You mean
that
the biggest story.
yeah, obviously the biggest story. So if you've been like dead for the last few days, Taylor Swift announced her new album. It's called Reputation. It's coming out on November 10th. And then she released a single called Look What You Made Me Do.
and it's great.
Yeah, do you like it?
Yeah, I didn't like it at first, but then when I had it on repeat for like 2 hours, I liked it afterwards.
Yeah, I love the song from the moment I heard it, because the thing is, I've been a fan of Taylor Swift since Red, that came out in
Yeah,
2012, and when she announced that she was gonna make a new album after Red, and that obviously became 1989. She said that it was gonna be a completely different album, and I was really scared
yeah,
because I was like, "Holy shit! Am I just not gonna like this album at all?" But then she released it, and I like most of the songs more than I like any of the songs on Red.
yeah. It's a great album.
Yeah, it's a great album. And then this happens where she just completely removes all of her social
Yeah.
media. She does like these major things, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna hate this album.
Yeah,
Because she's going in a completely new direction, and
yeah,
from like the videos that she released on Twitter and Instagram, she had like the snake that were moving around, so obviously
yeah.
she was taking a really dark turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, Look What You Made Me Do is really good. I really like it.
It's very different from her past stuff, but it's good.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what I hate about it, it's like all the fans just being super upset about it,
Yeah, but that's
and we
just,
all know
yeah.
that in like 6 months they're gonna love the song.
Yeah. I'm glad that I have a tweet out from
Yeah,
like 10 minutes after I heard the song where I said that I love it, because then I can
Yeah.
refer to that and people can know that I'm not a flip-flopper.
but yeah, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan. I mean, I like some of her songs, but I'm excited for the album.
Yeah, there are a few things that I'm like really, 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 really excited for, and this is one of them. Like like up with like Super Mario Odyssey, like there's reputation. And yeah, I'm so like, when I first heard it, and like the first kind of beat that shows up in the song, or no, it's the melody that first kind of like dum dum dum
Yeah.
dum dum dum. That's like when I first heard it, I was like, wow, this is a really cool melody. And like, have you seen the video, the lyric video, or did you watch?
No,
Did you
I
listen to it on like Spotify? Because in the lyric video, which is the first one I watched, there basically it like just shows up like Taylor Swift on like a red screen, and then like Look What You Made Me Do shows up in like sync with those melody hits basically, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good. And then like the song starts, and like the like very bass driven like background music and like all this stuff, it's good. I really liked it a lot. And then like when the big like reveal happens in the song,
the phone call.
yeah, I was like,
So
what?
good.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone else who had like such as a like big reaction to when that happened as I did. Like but I was like listening to this. I was like, I had it like on like really loud in my headphones, and it was like dark in my room because I just woke up. It had like the song had been released 5 hours before I woke up. So it was like the first thing I did. I did not look look at Twitter at all. I didn't look at anything. I just brought up the link and started watching the video. And I was still like really sleepy, like, oh. So and listening to that, I was just so into it. And then like, oh, because she's dead. It's like, what? Yeah. It was awesome.
It's very like dark song, kind of.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, because she did like wipe her social media and stuff like that beforehand, and then that was basically a tease for the reveal that happens in the song.
Yeah,
I'm kind of wondering if this album will be like trying to tell a story in general. So like the upcoming singles, because she obviously releases a lot of singles before the album comes out.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like the singles will be continuing this story.
yeah.
And maybe like the album itself is telling a story, and maybe this song is like the first song on the album, or it's like in the middle and we have just jumped like into the middle of the story. I don't know, like it could be really interesting. And considering Swift has been making so many albums at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if she's going like a completely new direction, is trying to like do something bigger with the album. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. According to iTunes, there are gonna be 15 songs on the album. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds. How many songs are there on her other albums?
Let me see. Red has, if you do not count the deluxe edition, it has 16 songs. The deluxe edition has 19.
Okay.
1989 has 13. The deluxe version has 16. So yeah.
Okay. So pretty much the same as her previous albums.
Yeah. So let's take a little break and we'll go into the topic section where we're gonna talk about Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. All right, it's time to talk about Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So we're gonna start off and have just kind of talk about what we think about the game, and then we're gonna specifically say when we're going into spoilers. So if you haven't played the game, stop listening at that point and go play the game yourself. If you haven't played any Uncharted game, stop listening at that point and
stop now.
Yeah, just stop now and just start playing all the games. And despite what you may have heard, that this game is like more standalone, do not play this game before any other Uncharted game.
No.
You will be very confused. Unlike every other Uncharted game, this is more than any other Uncharted game. More
it's
of
a sequel.
It is, even though it doesn't have like a lot of the characters from Uncharted 4, it is like almost a direct sequel to Uncharted 4, and it references Uncharted 4 in so many different ways. So go ahead and play every Uncharted game in its release order. You can play Golden Abyss before 1 if you want, or if you don't want to play Golden Abyss, that's fine, because it's fine.
And you can skip Fight for Fortune.
Yeah, obviously you can skip Fight for Fortune. All right, so The Lost Legacy. I personally think it's one of the best Uncharted games.
Yeah, me too. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think you can't talk about this game without mentioning Uncharted 4.
No.
So obviously this game started out as a DLC for Uncharted 4.
Yeah, I mean, Uncharted 4 had a season pass, right?
Yeah, or it wasn't called a season pass, but it's basically a season pass.
Yeah. Is this still included in that?
Yeah, I got it for free.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Did you buy the season pass for Uncharted 4?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Never buy season pass.
Yeah. I don't really do either, unless I really care about the game. So this was basically like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna pay. And I'm glad I did, because when I bought Uncharted 4, I had a lot more money than I have now. So basically, I got this game for free, and during a moment where I really needed a free game. So it was great.
Cool.
But yeah, let's kind of break down the game a little bit more. You're playing as Chloe Fraser, who first appeared in Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
And she also appeared in Uncharted 3.
One of the best characters in the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah, she is a really good character. I personally prefer Elena, but I still think...
She's just so boring to me.
Elena?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I like her more, but Chloe was obviously like created for Uncharted 2 in order to kind of display Nate's countering personalities into human beings, basically.
Yeah.
Like Elena is like displaying this more the character, like the person that Nate will eventually become. While Chloe is showing Nate as this person that he currently is, or used to be, in a way. But in this game, Chloe has grown up a lot as well.
Yeah, she really has.
Yeah. Personally, my biggest problem with Chloe in this game is that I think her nose is really weird in this game.
Yeah, and I noticed that in the first trailer.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Like, I haven't gone back to like completely compare with like her look in Uncharted 2 and 3. I also thought she looked really weird in 3, but I don't know. For some reason, she just doesn't look like Chloe.
No,
And
there's something off about it.
yeah, there were only like certain moments where it really felt like a Chloe. And I don't know, it like when she had her face in certain angles and she looked more like she did in Uncharted 2, those were moments where I was like, oh, I'm playing as Chloe.
Yeah,
Because,
exactly.
yeah, like you can say that you're playing as Chloe, like, oh, you're playing as Chloe, but it's not going to feel like you're playing as Chloe until you notice it yourself. And personally, like, and especially since Chloe has grown up so much since she last appeared in the series, she's not really the same person as well. So
No.
she doesn't look like herself and she doesn't act like herself. So that's kind of why, that's my biggest problem with the game, really. The fact that Chloe doesn't feel like Chloe, and since Chloe doesn't look like Chloe,
You're
it,
not really playing as Chloe.
yeah, it's weird in that way. But obviously, the other character is Nadine Ross from Uncharted 4. Obviously, she looks exactly like she did in Uncharted 4,
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure it's the same model,
Yeah,
the same character model.
Did it say how? Like, nah, never mind. It's a bit spoilery.
Yeah, let's go for that later on. So yeah, obviously Uncharted is it's a third-person shooter where you take cover and you shoot people and you explore exotic areas and stuff like that.
It's basically Indiana Jones in a video game.
Yeah, I would personally say it's better than Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it really.
Yeah. And okay, so in a general sense, how do you feel like this game stacks up against the other Uncharted games? Where would you rank it?
I mean, I haven't played Golden Abyss, so I can't talk about that. But Uncharted 1 is at the bottom, and then Uncharted 2, and then I think this one comes, and then Uncharted 4 and Uncharted 3.
Yeah. I'm still deciding where I'm gonna place Uncharted 3 or The Lost Legacy, because Uncharted 4 is on top for me. Then you have Uncharted 3 or The Lost Legacy, not sure yet. And then Uncharted 2, Golden Abyss, and Drake's Fortune.
Yeah.
Drake's Fortune is really not a good game anymore. I played it, especially like when I played it on PS4.
Yeah, I've only played it on PS4, so
it's so boring.
yeah, it's like it's just wave after wave after wave of enemies.
Yeah, you just keep like exploring these really empty places that look exactly the same.
It's really repetitive.
Yeah, it's just not really that fun. And it's a shame, because it's possible that the first Uncharted game has turned a lot of people off of the series, because it's just not really that great anymore.
Maybe, I don't think so, but since Uncharted 2 is like so well known.
I think if you are someone who is capable of pushing yourself through the first game just to experience how great the later ones are, then you're gonna play it. But I feel like there are some people who are like less patient, I guess, and wouldn't play like the first game.
I mean, it's a good game. It's just not as
it's not a bad,
less good as the other ones.
Yeah, it's obviously not a bad game, but it's not good anymore.
No.
Especially compared to the rest of the series.
Yeah.
So The Lost Legacy, it's not as long as any other Uncharted game. How do you feel that they handled that?
It's longer than I expected it to be. I expected it to be like 4 hours, and it took me around 7 hours to beat.
Yeah. It took 6.5 hours for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's perfect length.
Yeah.
Actually, it's paced really well.
Yeah, I think so too. How do you feel the dynamic between the characters?
I really liked it. I liked it more than the dynamic between Sam and Drake in the Uncharted 4.
Yeah,
I
I don't
really
know.
like Nadine in this game. I didn't like her at all in Uncharted 4, but I thought she was great in this one.
Yeah, I like Nadine in 4. I mean, or I was more like neutral on Nadine, I would say. She
Yeah.
wasn't developed at all in the game.
No.
But I still think she was a great inclusion. I think she should. It's good that she was in the game. Because usually in like all the other Uncharted games and like every other story where like the villain has like this great army of uh, of enemies basically for you to fight. It's just this guy who has like a bunch of mercenaries. This time, the guy has hired someone else to get the
Yeah.
mercenaries, and I thought that was a really cool and different dynamic to
What?
to the story. And that's again proving something that we talked about on the last episode. Neil Druckmann and his writing is just so he's just so good at not following tropes in storytelling.
Yeah.
And even if that's just a completely new character created out of nowhere just for a simple purpose, but it was still good. I like the conversations that you get to see between Rafe and Nadine and stuff like that
Yeah.
in the forum.
I mean, Lost Legacy, like, it makes you care about Nadine.
Yeah,
And there are certain moments that are, like, really good. I won't spoil it, but...
yeah, yeah. There are some really good moments in the game.
Some of the best of the series, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. Especially like we're gonna talk more about it later, but one of the set pieces in the game are easily one of the best in the series,
Yeah. If not,
if not
the
the
best.
best. Exactly. It was really cool. So what else is there you can? Oh yeah, let's talk about the open world area in the game.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the first time since Jack and Daxter that Naughty Dog has an open world area in their game.
They kind of did it with Uncharted 4 and the Madagascar area, but
Yeah, but anyone
that's
who's
nothing in comparison to this one.
anyone who's replayed that area knows the limits of it.
Yeah.
And the fact is it's very linear. It's more like a branching path than anything. It's not it's just it's about as open as any other area in Uncharted. It's just
Yeah.
on a larger scale because you're driving a vehicle.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not an open world. But yeah, this time it is like a real open world, and like the design of the open world itself is really well done.
Yeah.
I feel like, and the fact they made an open world with no UI elements at all.
Yeah. And it's
And-
still really easy to navigate and know where you are.
Yeah, exactly. And you have like this physical map that you can look at, pinpoint the locations and stuff like that, and Chloe like makes notes on the map and stuff like that.
Yeah, did you see that Kotaku article
Yeah,
about the map?
basically, when she picks up her map and she like makes the animation of writing on the map that she holds is the same map that you get when you pick up the map using the button that activates the map. And I don't wanna like seem like a downer here, but that's it. Basically the article makes it look like that was a harder thing to do.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, no, it's the exact same texture, just like it would actually be a harder thing to do to have to make like low res textures of every version of the map. Yeah, but it's still like it's a really cool thing. It's like in the GTA. I don't know if it's in, I think it's in 5 as well, but it was definitely in 4. When you pick up your phone and if you look at the character holding the phone, it's the exact same thing on the phone as it is in your UI. So just these kind of tiny details that that make it really cool. But yeah, just the design of the world and the fact that you could just traverse it using no compass or anything like that.
No, it's really well made.
Yeah, and there are like as I talked about in the last episode about Breath of the Wild, there are points in the world that if you just kind of look after them, you can navigate on your own by just looking at points of interest in the world and following them. I've heard some complaints about that the fact that you can't climb most things in the world wasn't a problem for me because I was using the car most of the time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't think I ever encountered a wall I didn't want to climb that I wanted to climb that I couldn't climb. And I think one thing that you should pay attention to that I didn't pay attention to, I don't know if that was just because I was stupid or anything, but in the open world there are these kind of collectibles, and I collect all the collectibles, but something that I noticed until later is that every location where there is a collectible to go and pick up, there are these like pillar things with like a little statue inside it. And that signifies that there is a collectible there. So if you just drive around the world without the map and look for these things, you're gonna find them.
Yeah.
Or at least like, so I would say when you first get into the world and there's like this tower you climb in the beginning, after you do that and you basically activate the quest of getting the collectibles. Just start looking for them on your own. Don't use the map. And if you've played for a little while and you have found a few and you've done some of the quests in the world, then you can start using the map. Because I overuse the map a lot.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, it would get a lot more enjoyable if you just let yourself explore. And it's very obvious that they want you to explore because bringing up the map is kind of a tedious process. It just takes a lot of time to bring it up.
Yeah.
And it's obviously, that is an obvious design decision made by them, so you don't want to bring up the map as much.
Yeah. I kind of wish they didn't have a map, actually.
Yeah, in a way.
Then you would be more focused on the exploration part of it.
Yeah. Could have been, could have been an interesting thing to do. Just kind of try explore the world.
It's not a huge open world either, so
yeah, it's not big at all.
Yeah.
It was when I think it was Naughty Dog who tweeted like this is the largest area that Naughty Dog has ever made, and I tweeted back at them and asked, is it bigger than the Wasteland in Jak 3? And I didn't get an answer, but because the Wasteland in Jak 3 is the biggest area that Naughty Dog has ever made, and I don't really think this area is bigger than that.
Yeah.
It might be. I don't know.
I never played Jak 3, so
It's a good game. Okay. All right, so do you recommend this game for anyone who hasn't played it? Yeah, I recommend it.
If you like Uncharted, you'll love this one.
Yeah. I think
more Uncharted, and that's good.
I think that if you have listened to what a lot of the press has said about the game and like media and stuff like that, you will be very surprised at how the game is, because I think a lot of people are heavily undermining how good this game is.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I don't think there's like any game that I would rather see be completely copied and made a new game out of than Uncharted 4, and this is exactly what this game is. So let's go immediately into complete spoiler territory. So if you haven't played Uncharted Lost Legacy or any other Uncharted game, please turn off this podcast and go play those games. So where do we begin? So let's start with, what do you think? What was the best part of the game?
The elephant part.
The
obviously.
Elephant. You think it was the elephant part?
Yeah, because you just like Chloe kind of betrayed Nadine in a way.
Yeah.
And then you get this elephant part, and you just they have a moment and they show that they're really friends.
Yeah.
It's such a good moment.
My
Plus, I love elephants.
yeah. My favorite moment was clearly the train sequence.
Yeah,
It,
close second.
it was so good. So obviously, if you've played the game, which you probably have if you're listening to this,
Yeah.
When they first kind of teased that they're gonna go on a train, I talked with you about this before. Like, shit, they're gonna do Uncharted 2 again, because obviously there's a train sequence in Uncharted 2. That's like one of the most loved
It's
sequences.
best part of that game.
Yeah, and then they go after this train, and you jump onto the train, and the train sequence begins. And I don't know if you noticed this, but there is one of the train carts that has two blue like boxes with tarps on it that are placed the exact same way as two boxes with blue tarps on them in Uncharted 2.
Oh.
Or at least it reminded me of that. I don't know if it's exactly the same way, but it did remind me of that. But yeah, I was like, okay, this is another train sequence. So obviously, this is like way prettier than it used to be, and it's a lot cooler and all this stuff. And it does some different things. You can like shimmy outside of the train carts and stuff like that. And but then the cars come.
Yeah.
And you realize that, holy shit, this is a merge of Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4.
Yeah, they took the best part of Uncharted 2 and one of the best part of Uncharted 4 and just put it together into an amazing set piece.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing, like, the cars come around, right? And I think first there are a bunch of bikes and then the cars come. But there's like a specific section on the train where you can't go any further and you have to jump onto a car. But I jumped onto a car before that, and I was like, there's a car over there. Can I jump onto the car? So I just like fucking book it and just jump onto the car, and they just take over the car, and Nadine is like right after me, and then we fucking drive. And it's so cool. You just start ramming down all these bikes, and then you jump back onto the train again, and then you can jump onto trucks and beat out guys that are on the trucks. You can jump back on the train, and then there's this moment where you have to use the grappling hook and start sliding behind the truck like you did in Uncharted 4.
Yeah. Did you think someone was going to die in the game?
No, I didn't think anyone was going to die in the game.
There was a part where I thought Chloe was going to die, but like right before they're supposed to go onto the train.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Like when they say that they're about to go onto the train and they say like, "Oh, this is a suicide mission," there was a moment there when I was like, "Damn, are they actually gonna die?" Yeah. But I like going into the game, I didn't think anyone was gonna die. No. Because I think, especially as you can see in Uncharted 4, and this was just like generic discussion about Uncharted 4. The fact that people were disappointed that no one died in the game.
Yeah.
I'm so like, stupid. Yeah, it's just so stupid. The stupid focus on death in storytelling, I think is completely, it's just stupid. Like, I think the fact that they were able to end both The Last of Us, it's tiny spoilers for The Last of Us, and Uncharted 4 with no major character dying.
And besides Sarah.
Yeah. I mean, there are, but like none of the characters that you think are gonna die.
Yeah, that's true.
And you still have these great endings. Is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're able to make a really emotional ending, like in Uncharted 4, where they make this awesome ending, where you have this really happy ending for Nate and Elena, and it still feels really like it feels like it feels so awesome, and it feels like it's earned.
Yeah.
and no one died, and
No.
that was awesome. Because when they teased that they were gonna kill Sam, I was like, no, don't kill Sam.
Yeah.
Like it was not like a thing is like, yeah, you didn't like Sam. I was like neutral
No.
about Sam, but like when they kind of teased that they were gonna kill Sam, like, come on, this is too cliche. Don't kill Sam. We all thought Sam was gonna die. So why are you trying to kill Sam? And then they don't kill Sam, and I was like, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, they couldn't kill Sully because no one would believe he died.
Yeah,
Because they already
he almost
faked him. in
yeah
Uncharted.
he's already been fake dead twice.
Yeah. So, no.
But yeah,
But yeah, did you expect what's her name? Drake's daughter? Cassandra?
yeah, Cassie, yeah.
Cassie. Did you expect her to show up in this game? In Lost Legacy?
No, definitely not. I didn't expect she would show up at all.
I kind of thought there would be a end credit scene. But there
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah, the thing with Uncharted 4, and we're gonna talk about it more in the pitch section later, where we're gonna pitch our new Uncharted game. The epilogue sequence in Uncharted 4 takes place in 2030.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you don't really think about that. So
No.
when people are talking about like, oh, we might like Uncharted 5 could include Cassie as the main character, you know? Well,
Yeah.
Uncharted is a contemporary franchise. So if you were to make a contemporary Uncharted game set in 2035, because that's when she's 18, like the lowest age that they were ever have a character portraying these kind of things,
Yeah.
like you have to wait until 2035 to make that game. Because you can't make
That's
a contemporary world set in 2035 right now because we don't know what that world's going to look like. But yeah, we're going to talk more about that later.
Yeah. This is what I was going to ask earlier. Like, how far after Uncharted 4 do you think this is? Like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
So all Uncharted games, all Naughty Dog games actually. I don't know about Crash Bandicoot, but at least Jack and Daxter. All these games are set in the same year they came out.
Oh, okay.
Or like in Jack and Daxter, they're not set in the same year they came out, but there is the exact same amount of time between the games as there were in real life. So
cool.
Uncharted 1 came out in 2007, and it takes place in 2007. 2, 2009, 3, 2011, 4, 2016,
Yeah.
and The Lost Legacy, 2017.
Okay.
And even The Last of Us, the outbreak happens in 2013, the year the game came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are always those kind of interesting aspects to Naughty Dog's games.
That's cool.
But yeah, so I think it takes place in 2017.
Yeah, it probably does.
Okay, so what do you think? Did you expect Sam to show up in this game?
No, I didn't. Not beforehand, but when like the villain, which is one of the best villains in the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like when he started talking about an expert that didn't show up, and then Nadine and Chloe started talking about the Drake brothers. I mean, I kind of knew someone was gonna show up.
Yeah, I feel like the expert was gonna be a character we knew. I didn't think it was Sam. It was gonna be Sam.
I kind of thought it was gonna be Sully.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think. I didn't think it was
Cutter.
gonna be. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be Cutter.
Yeah.
Actually, but it wasn't Cutter.
No.
Cutter just gets a quick mention in Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
I like Cutter. I think it was weird that they just kind of left Cutter.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, I would like to see a new game with Cutter in it. But yeah, anyway. Well, let's. Okay, so what do you think about Sam in this game?
I mean, I like him more in this one, since he's not in as much. No, but I mean, he's better, I think.
I really like the dynamic between Sam and Nadine.
Yeah, that was really
Like
good.
they don't ever like trust each other, but you really like notice that they're starting to get closer to each other,
Yeah,
but neither of them wants to admit it.
no. They both care about Chloe, so they want to be like. They knew like Chloe was gonna be sad if anything happened to either one of them, so they kind
Yeah,
of looked after each other.
yeah. I really liked Sam in this game. I think at some points, like you can see his kind of personality, a lot in the game, especially when like they find out about the bomb, and Sam's
Yeah,
immediate reaction is like, "That's not my problem."
let's get the fuck out of here instead.
Yeah, and let's talk about the bomb, and more about like Assad in general.
Yeah,
Something that I thought was really cool about this game is that this was just not a villain who hated the main characters. This was an
no,
actual terrorist.
yeah. He didn't actually care about the main characters at all.
Yeah. He was just like trying to start his own civil war.
Yeah,
And I thought that was a very different and a very cool like dynamic that we haven't seen in the Uncharted series yet.
yeah,
Before was like, you know, in Uncharted 1, it was a magical thing. Uncharted 2, it was a magical thing. Uncharted 3, it was a magical thing.
yeah. Sad, but just disappears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
And then
Uncharted 4 didn't really have a magical thing, did it?
yeah, exactly. And Uncharted 4's villain was also really cool.
Yeah,
I thought, Rafe, when he says, like when you're fighting Rafe at the end in the pirate ship, and he says, like, I was given everything on a silver plate, and he said that like it was a negative thing, and I was like,
yeah,
wow, that's awesome. The fact that
yeah,
they took this like very cliche thing and they said it in these in that cliche way as well, with giving everything on a silver platter, but he wanted to do things himself,
yeah,
and I thought that was so cool. It was such a cool character trait, the fact that he was given everything but he wanted to earn it instead of just a villain who had to earn everything himself while the hero was given everything, you know. It's like
yeah,
this very very different take on a very old trope. But yeah, in this game you don't have just like a weird treasure hunter in this game. This is like an actual terrorist that they're dealing
yeah,
with, who wants to actually mass murder people to start a war.
yeah. I was kind of disappointed by the like final fight because it was kind of the same thing as in Uncharted 4.
Yeah. I thought that the fighting was better in this game, though. Like
Yeah,
when it came
it
to
was.
that more duel style fight,
Yeah,
they
and
do
like
it
the
twice in the
combat
game.
overall in this game is, I think it's better than Uncharted 4.
I mean, it's not really that different.
No, like
It's just,
the melee is a bit different.
yeah, they have some like different animations and stuff
Yeah,
like that, that look a little cooler. And that's also like another subtle thing about the game. Chloe is, for the most part, the same base of animations as Nate, especially when you're climbing.
yeah,
But there are some animations that are just completely new. Like for the first of all, like her walking, running, and all those animations are completely
yeah,
new. All the like basic animations, but then like even vaulting over something or jumping into the car in all the different ways you can jump into the car, they're all new.
yeah,
And I didn't expect that. Like, for example, if you know that you can jump out of the car, jump out and into the car in like all the different angles, right?
yeah,
Which is awesome, by the way.
yeah.
I love that. Like you can even run towards the car, and I think you press X, and then you'll vault through the car and end up on the other side.
It's kind of weird when Nadine and Chloe jumps in at the same time when they just go through each other, but
That's never
just,
happened to me actually.
it didn't.
No,
Huh.
but yeah, like you can see like these very different animations and how they enter the car and stuff like that. Like if you exit the car over the windshield, like Nate would
Yeah.
just do this like very casual like vault over, while Chloe makes like these like one of her legs are like straight up in the air and like vaults over like very like I don't know like she's a lot more agile than Nate. So yeah, like it's a move that just wouldn't have fit with
No,
Nate because obviously Nate is this more like he's not really trained in any way. He's
no,
more
it's
like
more bulky.
yeah, he's more like experienced in his own way.
Yeah,
He's not like professionally trained. Well, I feel like Chloe has probably done some fight training or something like that.
yeah, probably.
But yeah, what else is there to talk about?
There was a like just some like references to Tomb Raider. I think like her father disappeared when she was young, and she had to figure out stuff on her own.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting thing. The fact that both Nadine and Chloe are where they are because of their dads.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you would say that's a very cliche thing, because it kind of is. Like when you have a female character who does a thing that's very like masculine in nature, a very
yeah,
easy way to kind of explain that away is to say that, oh, it's the dad. You know, like
yeah,
why would a girl do this unless it's the dad? You know, so that's like my only problem with like that plot point. But at the same time, it's like a really cool thing that they're both in the same situation because of the
yeah.
same situation.
Kind of gives a new like level to their relationship.
Yeah, exactly. They can like relate to each other in that
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
Yeah. What do you how do you think about like, because obviously the game is linear, open, and then linear
Yeah,
for the rest of the game. How do you think about that structure?
I mean, I think it worked great. I mean, the open world wasn't like really like super big, so it didn't feel like that much different.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was the best way they could have done it.
Yeah,
I don't. I think if they would have opened up the game later on, it may have felt weird, especially if when
yeah,
the stakes are so high. It's like, oh, like there's a terrorist. He's gonna bomb a city in India. Let's go look for medals.
yeah. Did you use the armband?
Yeah, I used it.
Oh, I didn't.
Queen's Ruby, it was called.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I used it. And but I later when I went to the menu, I saw that you can turn it off, and I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's cool that you can turn it off.
yeah. I just hope they don't, for The Last of Us Part 2, that they don't just make every area like that open.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have like some kind of open nature to it.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
But like my favorite parts of The Last of Us is like when you're trapped in a small building with lots of clickers and you have to like figure out how you're gonna get out of there alive. And I just
yeah,
feel like if they open up the game too much, it's just gonna take that away.
yeah, exactly. And I don't even know like how they would even put in uh, a situation like that, because obviously the way they were able to do it in this game was because, okay, we need to go to these 3 locations to
Yeah,
activate the door, and just any normal game would have just led you to each thing, and then just like in a linear pattern, while this game allowed you to pick and choose whichever way you wanted, which I really like in a game. I like when you
yeah,
give the player choice.
yeah,
And it doesn't affect anything because it's made in a very like modular way. Like
yeah,
obviously the like the cutscenes that happen when you're like looking at the door and they're talking to each other, that cutscene can happen in any of the 3 places and it doesn't
yeah.
matter.
No,
Um, but yeah, and then but like in The Last of Us, I don't know how they would be able to put a situation like that where you have to go to
uh,
multiple locations to then move on.
I mean it's kind of hard to speculate about that when we don't really know what the game is gonna be about either. So
Yeah, yeah, it's It's gonna be interesting to see what that game is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not The Last of Us.
No.
Yeah. What else is there to talk about? What did you think about the helicopter sequence?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of stressful to me. Like, you had to go to these boxes and open them up, and you were like worried that the shopper was gonna see it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the sequence.
Yeah. Did you ever climb? Did you attach onto the helicopter?
Yeah, you have to, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe I was just I didn't just find the other boxes, but
No, I think you have to.
yeah. I what do you think about that sequence? Because that's obviously one of the like set pieces in a way. It's a lot more scripted, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
Yeah, I
Like,
thought it was cool.
Did you recognize the guy from Uncharted 4?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
I mean, he was one of the guys you could play in the multiplayer.
Yeah.
So that kind of but yeah, he is the guy. You remember when just before they go into the pirate ship in the cave, the final scene in the game, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When and that's when Nadine wants to pull out, right?
Yeah.
And when Rafe kind of takes over, basically, the guy who holds the gun up to Nadine, that's Orca.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's her lieutenant. Like, he is around. He's also in the scene where you're kind of climbing up to this hole and you're listening to them, and they are talking about blowing things up and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
true.
Orca is the guy who walks out the door in the start of that scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is around in that game, but he definitely has a bigger role in this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we should we just move on to
The
pitching? Yeah, let's pitch the next Uncharted game. So we'll see you right after this. Alright, it's time to pitch our own Uncharted game. Where do we think the series should go next? Well, stick around to find out. So, my first pitch is the obvious Uncharted 5. And I think they should not make another Uncharted game until Cassie is old enough to star in the game herself. Or at least not another mainline Uncharted game.
No.
Because this is kind of like Star Wars in a way. Like the numbered Star Wars movies, they're about the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
And that should be the same for the numbered Uncharted games. The numbered Uncharted games should be about the Drakes.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, so I think the only person who is even close to worthy of picking up the mantle from Nathan Drake in a numbered Uncharted game is his own daughter, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And I think the way this could go is that they do like maybe one or two more of these kind of smaller scale Uncharted games. And then they're gonna like move on with The Last of Us, and I think they're gonna make like a new IP. And when they're done with like all of that, we are close to the time where they can make the next Uncharted game with Cassie. And that's to a point where the Uncharted franchise is far enough away that it's
gonna be a big deal again.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big deal again. And I have some like pretty cool ideas for what they could do in Uncharted 5. So let's kind of imagine. Obviously, we don't know what 2035 looks like. No. Let's just ignore that for a second. So I think this should, at that point, star Cassie, who is like 18 or something in that game. And then it should star one completely new character who is like her sidekick or whatever, her friend, who should be like around the same age as her. If that's male or female, I don't know. And then maybe another character as well. But I think one of the biggest things in and about like the story that should happen is that this is Cassie's first adventure, and she's wanted to do it for a while because she knows what her dad was doing. Like after she finds out what they were doing, and she wants to go out on her own adventure. And she, like, about halfway through the game, she realizes that she's in way over her head, and
Yeah.
Nate comes back. Old man Nate comes
Yeah,
back.
I don't think they're gonna do that in like the next main Uncharted game.
Obviously, you're not going to play as Nate.
No.
You still play as Cassie, but since I mean, if this would have come out like if this would have been the next game that they're making and Nate comes back, obviously no, that's a straight up no. But since
Yeah.
this game would be like 15 years into the future from now,
Yeah, I guess.
that would be more like a nostalgia play at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and I can like almost see it in front of me. Like it would be almost like when Kratos shows up in the God of War trailer. Like I could just see it in front of me. Like Nate just shows up, and for a brief moment you hear like do 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 do. Like very very subtly in the background, like that there's Nate, and everyone would be like, "What? It's Nathan Drake!" And obviously he would look like old as shit, but he's like 60 at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be a pretty cool thing to do. Obviously, I don't think the focus should be too much on Nate. In fact, I don't think he should be even very, very important to the story at all. I think he should just show up because he is worried, but at the same time, it's just gonna like show that she was fine, but he just showed up anyway. Basically, yeah. I think that would be a pretty cool thing to do. I have another idea, but do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want a game where you play as Cassie, obviously, but like the Sully figure is Chloe instead.
Yeah, that could be cool. The reason why I didn't put like a mentor character into my game in my version is because we have already had a mentor character.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, so I wanted to do like a more. It would be kind of similar to the dynamic they have in like Force Awakens, almost, where you have Rey and Finn, who are these like they're similarly aged characters, and then Han Solo comes in later. So it would be like the similar approach there, where you have these like younger characters, and then Nate comes in and stars as like the mentor in a way. But I wouldn't want him to be around in the next game, for instance.
No. I mean, I really like your idea that she just take her friend on a journey. Like, come on, let's go on this trip and explore this location.
Yeah, maybe like that could be an even better idea. Like maybe like Cassie and her friend or friends go on like a vacation, and then they realized some weird shit is happening, and Cassie is like trigger happy to jump into it.
Yeah.
And and then they realize that they're in over their head, and that's when Nate shows up.
Yeah, and that could be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't like make the entire game like open world, because then it's just not Uncharted anymore.
Yeah. I think they're definitely at. I think the biggest thing they would ever do is to have multiple open world environments.
Yeah.
Because it's still gonna be a linear game. They still want to tell a story in that way, but I think if they were gonna make a new IP, we could see an open world game where they tackle storytelling in a different way. But I don't think we're gonna see that game be an Uncharted game.
No. I want them to make a first-person shooter that's set in the World War One.
but we already have a lot of those games.
Yeah, but like Naughty Dog's like version of it
Yeah, maybe.
could be cool.
I said it a lot before. I think it was before Uncharted 4 was announced. That I wanted to see Naughty Dog split up the entire team into 3 parts.
Yeah.
One team makes their like a modern new interpretation of Crash Bandicoot. One team makes a modern new interpretation of Jak and Daxter, and one team makes an open world like almost like kind of I guess like The Witness slash Minecraft slash Breath of the Wild style like survival based Uncharted game.
Yeah.
Where you're basically you play as Nate or whoever, and you get stranded on this island, and you just get to survive and figure things out. Like that, coupled with the mechanics and how Uncharted plays, I think would be a really cool game.
Yeah.
It obviously wouldn't be an Uncharted game; it would just be set in Uncharted.
I mean, they're never gonna make another Crash game.
Nah, yeah, I know, but I still, and I don't think that's like a good use of their time. But I still would like to see what Naughty Dog would make with that franchise.
Yeah.
Like, what does a 3D platformer by Naughty Dog
Modern
look like?
Naughty Dog look like.
Yeah, like what does that look like? I would really like to see that.
Do you think we'll ever get a Sully and Marlowe story? Like sort of like The Lost Legacy, but set in the past.
I don't think so. Sully was more of a contractor, and it's very clear that he never really liked Marlowe. He was with Marlowe, but it's kind of clear that he was very quick to bail on her, basically. So I don't think it would have there would be any kind of good dynamics between them. But yeah, maybe that's a cool idea. What I want to see, I would like to see a game focused on Elena.
Yeah, that could be cool.
And I would like it to see it be set between Uncharted 1 and 2. Because if you look at Elena's, like the development of Elena's character, obviously she starts out the series being this like very clean slate character.
Yeah.
And then because she meets Nate, she becomes like her kind of morals becomes a lot more cloudy, basically. And you see her in the beginning of when you meet her in Uncharted 2, she has a gun, and she's probably used it for a while at this point.
But wasn't she just like a reporter?
Yeah, she was. I don't know. Like, do you remember if they ever say that this is her first job as an investigative reporter in Uncharted 2?
I think they do, but I'm not sure.
Because if they don't, I would like to see them make a game about her first job as an investigative reporter before Uncharted 2, because that is in her. This is the only section in the Uncharted timeline where Elena is using a gun outside of an Uncharted game.
Yeah.
Because in Uncharted 3, she after Uncharted 3, she obviously they marry and then they break up, and she becomes a lot more clean, like a more clean slate than Nate does, because they split up because of that, right?
Yeah.
And she uses a gun in the games because she is with Nate and they need to survive. So that's the reason she uses a gun. And we see her with a gun before you meet her in like when you meet her in Uncharted 2. So that means the time between 1 and 2 is the only time outside of an Uncharted game where she has a gun. So that's like the only point where you can make an Uncharted game about her.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
I hope they bring back that cameraman if
Jeff.
they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally I don't think Jeff is a really cool character. I think he was I mean, he was written to be this like really lame shy, like weak character, and but I think if they were to write this story in like between 1 and 2, where it's Elena's first job, she has another cameraman who is a more interesting character, but he dies in the game, and Jeff
Yeah.
is her new cameraman.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool game, because obviously you can't set it between 2 and 3, and you can't set it between 3 and 4, and you can't set it after 4.
Yeah, that's true.
So between 1 and 2 is the only time where you can make a true Uncharted game about Elena.
Yeah.
But
mean,
obviously you
cool.
can make like another style of game where there's no combat. But I don't think that would be as interesting.
No. I just I kind of want a game where you just ride an elephant. I mean, Naughty Dog, they're great at like making scenes where humans interact with animals. You have the giraffe scene in Last of Us and the elephant scene in Lost Legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what about Sully and Sam? A Sully Sam game.
I mean, I could see them doing it, but it just doesn't excite me.
Yeah.
And not just because I don't like Sam. I mean,
it is just...
How old must Sully be in like the epilogue of Uncharted 4?
Wow.
If he's like 30 in the Uncharted 3 flashback,
yeah,
then he's got to be.
I think he
something?
is. I think he's 60 in Uncharted 3. So in Uncharted 4, which is set
2016.
It's set 5 years later. So he's 65. So in the epilogue, which is set, let's see, 2030 and it's set 2060, it's like 14 years in the future. So he is 79?
Yeah.
In the epilogue. Yeah.
And he's still running around with Sam.
Yeah. I would assume he's not like climbing and shit, like that's Sam's job, but like he's more of a like he's still around. And I also don't think that Sam and Sully's adventures would be anywhere close to as adventurous and action-filled as Nate's adventures are.
No.
And you can kind of see that. Like Sam is clearly not as good as Nate is.
No, he's not. And it's like their chemistry isn't as good. Like Sully's and Sam's isn't as good as Nate's and Sully's, obviously.
Yeah, I also think it would be too much of the same thing. Like even if they were to build up that chemistry and it becomes a like very good relationship, which it obviously is, as we see in like the notes that you can read in the epilogue. Like they obviously become very close.
Yeah.
But I think that the dynamic between them would be very similar, like as Nate and Sully.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's really a point to it.
No.
You would just be you wouldn't be like exploring any new areas like they were with the Lost Legacy. Oh, by the way,
do you have some what?
By the way, this line that I just love in the Lost Legacy is when she asks about Chloe's relationship with Nate, and she asks like, so did you guys take turns talking or did you just talk over each other?
So good.
That was so funny.
Just so well written.
Yeah. So yeah, do you have any other ideas of Uncharted games?
I don't know. Do you have any other?
I don't know. Yeah, I think not an Uncharted game, but obviously the movie has been announced for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But now it's closer to being made than ever.
Yeah.
We have a main actor. We have Tom Holland, who played Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He's set to play Nathan Drake, a young Nathan Drake, which the moment they said that they were going to make a young Nathan Drake story, I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want to see like them reinterpreting a game or setting anything after the games or during the games or anything like that, or before the games. Like the fact that they're telling more of Nate's origin story, that's what I would like to know more about. And obviously, like if they do a bad job, Naughty Dog is just gonna cut it out of canon.
Yeah, that's true.
Like at the end of the day, Naughty Dog has all the power they need to just make this movie completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I hope that they involve Naughty Dog in the making of this movie.
Yeah, Neil isn't involved at all now, we see.
Yeah, and like the thing, Tom Holland, he seems like a really cool guy. Yeah. And if none
Did
of
you see
the
that lip sync thing he did?
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good.
I think that if none of the executives on the movie are gonna involve Naughty Dog in any way, I think Tom Holland is the guy who would.
Yeah.
Like I would listen to a podcast where the guy in the podcast asked him about the Uncharted movie. He said he had only played 4 because they were given a PS4 on set of Homecoming.
Yeah.
But he said he loved the game, and he said that they didn't want to go shoot the movie because they wanted to keep playing. So that sounds like a good thing, at least. So I hope that if they do not contact Naughty Dog, if they don't like put them together, I hope that at least Tom Holland will talk to Naughty Dog himself to do it.
Probably.
Because he seems like a really cool guy, and he seems like he really wants to respect the creators of everything and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you think the movie is gonna be about like Nate being on his own before he meets Sally, or do you think it's gonna be their adventures before one?
I think it's gonna be set like since Tom Holland he's like 20, he's like in his early 20s. He's about my age.
But he looks pretty young.
Yeah, like I think they could make a story where Nate is like around 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great opportunity for them to involve Sam in an earlier story in Nate's life.
That's true.
This is a perfect opportunity for them to do that. And I really hope that this is a movie that stars Nate, Sam, and Sully.
Yeah.
Like if they can cast all those 3 characters, that would be great.
Hope to cast Steve Harvey as Sully.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Who would you like to see as Sully? Like a serious pick.
Hugh Jackman, maybe.
Huh. Yeah, maybe.
Or yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm not really that good with actors, really. Like the thing is like when you see an actor do something, that's the moment you know he's gonna be good for the character.
Yeah, exactly.
But like just thinking about characters, like I don't know.
I mean, he's obviously gonna be young, but if they were going for an older Sully, I mean, Kevin Spacey would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I think Kevin Spacey is a bit too serious for that role.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there are people who get paid to do this stuff, and obviously they do it worse than some people on the internet. But let's hope they do well. And it's, I think it's also worth noting that I wouldn't trust a milkshake with Sony Pictures. Like Sony Pictures don't know how to do shit. And like the less Sony Pictures are involved with this movie, the better. And obviously, since they are making the movie, this is not a good sign. Like the only reason Homecoming was a good movie was because Sony Pictures was probably not heavily involved with it.
No. I mean, they're making a Venom movie, which
it's not going to be good. They're totally rushing that movie for next year without having made anything or cast anyone. They don't even have scripts or anything.
I mean, they cast Tom Hardy as
Yeah.
Venom, and he's extremely like picky with choosing scripts.
Yeah,
So
let's hope for the best there.
yeah.
But yeah, anything else to say about Uncharted?
No, I don't think so. Do you have anything?
No, I don't think so. All right, so I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
Please like the video and subscribe, and we'll see you next week with another episode of Rebreak Radio.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, you can follow me at Dennis_Lofgren.
And I'm at VRobinGL.
Yeah, and you can also follow at Rebreak Radio. I'm gonna launch that Twitter. It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.